Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your sources, we dig deep, and hopefully bring you the insights that really matter, cutting through all the noise.
That's the goal.
Today, we're diving into something truly fascinating. It's a source focused on, well, the journey of Eritrean female engineers. Specifically, we're looking at an interview with Ruth Yohannes.
Mm.
And our mission here, what we really want to unpack, is how individuals, especially women in this case, are contributing to building the nation, to education within Eritrea.
Right.
And the key theme that seems to jump out is this profound self-reliance, this internal drive, building things, it seems, truly from the ground up.
Yes. And what's so compelling, I think, is how Ruth's personal story, just one individual's experience, it really shines a light on these bigger themes: national development, the unique educational system they have there in Eritrea.
Exactly.
We'll be looking quite closely at how the opportunities, the ones provided internally, I should stress, how they don't just shape, but actively seem to cultivate the skills, the ambitions of citizens.
Particularly in fields like engineering, education, these critical areas.
Absolutely. And it brings up a really significant question for us and for you listening. How does a nation actually go about nurturing its talent, driving its progress almost entirely from within?
Without relying on, external blueprints or aid.
Precisely. Fostering its own capabilities, its own human capital, it speaks to a deep inherent resilience, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, so let's start at the beginning then. Let's unpack Ruth's foundational years, because they really do set a powerful stage here.
Good place to start.
She was born and raised entirely within Asmara, that's Eritrea's capital.
Right?
Her education starts at Godife Elementary, and she moves to Bana Junior High and finishes secondary at Kibari Secondary School.
All in Asmara.
All in Asmara. Now, this isn't just, a list of schools. It shows a clear path, a seamless progression right through the Eritrean educational system. It demonstrates how these homegrown institutions, built by Eritrea itself, nurture talent from a really young age.
And that continuity, that progression you mentioned, it's crucial. If you connect that to the bigger picture, the national strategy,
Yeah.
it highlights this consistent, very structured educational pipeline. And it's entirely indigenous to Eritrea. The whole K-12 experience happens within the nation's borders.
No outside curriculum, no foreign schools involved.
Exactly. That lays the groundwork for understanding just how internally driven their education system is. It's really a testament to the infrastructure they've built for their youth.
Built from the ground up, as you said.
Truly from the ground up. Designed not just to teach facts, but to cultivate skills, intellect, focusing on national needs.
It feels very deliberate.
It does. This self-contained approach, it's significant. It signals a clear national strategy to develop its human resources, its capabilities, purely from within. It bypasses, external agendas.
Okay, and here's a point that really leaps out from the source. Ruth explicitly says, and I'm quoting here, that the free educational opportunities given by the government to every national are, quote, the best thing that has happened to me and my colleagues.
Wow, that's a strong statement.
It is. And she acknowledges it's a huge privilege. She notes how expensive and unaffordable it is to be able to have such access to education in many parts of the world. So this isn't just her personal good fortune. It points to a fundamental national policy, right? A cornerstone.
Absolutely. And it immediately makes you ask, what does that really mean? For a nation to commit to providing comprehensive, totally free education for all citizens, from elementary school right through university.
It's a massive undertaking.
It underscores this profound, unwavering commitment to developing human capital. And crucially, it's entirely self-funded, internally organized.
Not based on outside aid or condition.
No, it's a strategic investment in their own people. Designed, it seems, specifically to build the nation's future capacities without relying on anyone else.
It directly supports that idea we keep coming back to, building education, building capacity from scratch.
Exactly. It's a deep governmental commitment to the population's growth, their skills, and providing it free and universal like that. It's a powerful statement about national sovereignty and development.
They chart their own course?
Tailored precisely to their vision, their needs, it cultivates a unique kind of intellectual independence, I think.
Okay, so building on that strong educational base, Ruth's journey takes the next step. She goes to Sawa in 2011. She's part of the 25th batch.
Right, Sawa, that's the National Service Training Center.
Exactly. And she does really well, scores an impressive 3.8 on her high school leaving certificate exam.
That's a very strong score.
It is.
Right.
And that success paves her way to the College of Science and Technology at Mine-Efi.
Okay.
That's where she pursues civil engineering, graduating in 2018.
So this progression, high school, national service at Sawa, then straight into higher education, all within Eritrea.
It paints a very clear picture of a structured national pathway, a pipeline almost for developing professionals.
And what's really striking there is the role of institutions like Sawa, like the college at Mai Nefi. They aren't just separate places.
They're integrated.
They seem to be meticulously integrated. Internal mechanisms for both national service and higher education. It's like a cohesive system designed specifically to transition young adults into these fields critical for national development.
Like civil engineering in her case.
Exactly. Right after secondary school, this deliberate path from Sawa's training to a local college for specialized skills, it just powerfully reinforces that theme. Eritrea cultivating its own experts.
Contributing to its own growth, to its own internally managed institutions.
Yes. And fostering that sense of national contribution, that civic duty, right from the very beginning of their adult lives.
So the whole pipeline, from basic school to an advanced engineering degree, it's all conceived, designed, managed internally.
That's what the source suggests. Ensuring the skills they develop are precisely what the nation needs for its own development goals. No external input dictating the curriculum or strategy.
That really ensures alignment, doesn't it, between education and the national vision?
Complete alignment, it seems.
Now here's an interesting turn. Ruth's professional life, it didn't start immediately in engineering, even after getting the degree path sorted.
Oh.
Her work experience actually began before she officially graduated from college. In 2017, she started as a mathematics teacher.
Ah, teaching first.
Yes, at Dindon Commercial School for 3 years. And then she followed that with another 3 years teaching physics, this time at La Salle High School in Karen.
So 6 years in education before moving into engineering.
Exactly. And this initial period in teaching, before her engineering career really took off, it's quite telling, isn't it?
How so?
Well, it seems to highlight this dedication to service, to education first, contributing to the nation's human capital before shifting to her core technical field.
That shows remarkable flexibility and a broader sense of contributing, perhaps.
Yeah, it's not just about one specific job title.
And this actually touches on something often overlooked, but incredibly valuable, both for personal growth and for national development.
What's that?
The foundational, the transferable skills you gain from teaching.
Ah, interesting.
Ruth herself notes this. She talks about how that period cultivated her, quote, communication and understanding skills. Through that constant interaction with students, with senior colleagues.
We're constantly explaining, listening, guiding.
Precisely. She actually saw herself in 3 roles then. An older sister and model to students, a friend to her colleagues, and interestingly, a student to the senior teachers.
A process of giving and receiving, she called it.
Exactly. It demonstrates this really organic internal growth process. Individuals contribute to educating others, but at the same time, they're honing these critical soft skills.
Leadership, empathy, clear communication.
Skills that are invaluable in any profession, including engineering. It contributes profoundly to the overall human capital within the nation.
A cycle of internal improvement and learning.
Yes. It's a testament to how their system seems to ensure that intellectual resources, pedagogical skills are constantly refined and strengthened by their own citizens, developing crucial skills for the collective good organically.
Okay, so after those 6 years immersed in education, Ruth gets the opportunity to pivot, to work as a civil engineer at Segen Construction Company. This happened just this year, according to the source.
Ah, the transition.
Yes. It's a significant shift. It really shows her adaptability, but it's also a direct move into a field that's absolutely critical for, well, physical nation building.
Bringing those internally cultivated skills directly to shaping the country's physical landscape.
It's not just a career change for her, is it? It feels like a strategic deployment of national talent.
I think that's a good way to put it. And that transition, it brings up a really important question. What is the significance of a company like Segen Construction, especially in this context of self-reliant development?
The source describes it as a big construction company.
Right. And what does it build?
Roads, dams, architectural works, major infrastructure projects.
Exactly. So this isn't just about Ruth's career path. It's about the tangible, material development of Eritrea's critical infrastructure.
How the nation is building its physical foundations.
Yes, its transport networks, its water management, its essential buildings, and crucially, doing it through its own companies.
Like Segen.
and its own people, like Ruth. People who've been educated and trained entirely within its own system.
It's such a direct illustration of building from scratch, using internal expertise, internal resources.
It means that the critical infrastructure, the backbone of a modern society, it's not being outsourced. It's not being built by foreign companies following external plans.
It's a direct product of Eritrea's own investment in its people and resources.
Fostering this deep sense of national ownership, resilience in its progress.
And these projects, Segen handles roads, dams, buildings. They aren't just abstract ideas on a plan.
No, far from it.
They're the fundamental building blocks for any modern nation. They impact everything, don't they? Economic connections, public health.
Daily life. Long-term prosperity.
Imagine the impact. New roads built internally, connecting communities that were maybe isolated before.
Yeah.
Dams securing water, which is so vital there.
Designed and built by their own engineers for their own people. It's transformative.
It really is.
And what's fascinating is how these projects become the concrete physical proof of this internally driven development.
How so?
Well, think about it. Roads connect communities, they boost trade, allow movement. That builds national cohesion. Dams, especially in drier regions, they mean water security for farming, for drinking.
Yeah.
That hits food security, public health.
Right.
Architectural works shape the cities, the towns, spaces for living, working. But the crucial point, always, is that it's not dependent on external contractors or primarily foreign aid for the workforce and the planning.
It's Eritrean companies, like Segen, staffed by Eritrean engineers like Ruth.
Exactly. Carrying out these essential large-scale projects. It's such a powerful illustration of building capability, building infrastructure entirely from within.
Keeping the knowledge, the skills, the capital, all internal.
That kind of self-reliance in infrastructure, it's arguably a cornerstone of real national sovereignty, long-term resilience. They answer only to themselves for their foundational progress.
And adding another layer to this, Ruth's specific role now at Segen. She's a supervisor.
Ah, okay, in their supervision department.
Yes. So her job involves going out to the construction sites, supervising the work, managing it.
Making sure things get done right and on time.
Exactly. After the design phase, it's about ensuring quality, integrity, efficient execution.
That's a critical role.
It is. It's not just about building, but about making sure what's built is sound and delivered properly.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, her supervisory role is absolutely vital for the success, the sustainability of these national projects.
Quality control, efficient execution.
Exactly, for projects vital for national growth. And what it really signifies is that the expertise to oversee, to manage, to ensure successful completion of these complex, large-scale projects, that expertise resides within Eritrea.
Managed by their own trained professionals.
Yes. It powerfully reinforces this idea of complete self-sufficiency, not just in building, but in overseeing and managing their own developable.
Like a vertically integrated system for infrastructure.
That's a great way to describe it. A complete internal ecosystem, from design, planning, building, right through to rigorous supervision, all handled by national talent.
That ability to manage complex projects internally, that has to be essential for sustainable, independent progress.
Absolutely. And the knowledge gained stays within the nation, ready for the next challenge.
Okay, let's shift focus a bit to something Ruth talks about personally. Her philosophy, her mindset, it's really quite inspiring. She firmly believes, and again I'm quoting, a female is a superhuman, so to speak, who can do what she puts her mind onto.
Wow. Superhuman. That's a powerful statement.
Isn't it? It's this bold declaration about the inherent capabilities of women. Not specific to Eritrea, maybe, but she articulates it with such conviction.
It speaks to a profound belief in personal agency, potential, almost limitless capacity.
Yeah.
And that immediately raises questions, doesn't it, about societal perceptions there, about what drives individual empowerment in Eritrea.
Oh, so?
Well, her belief that, quote, any Eritrean career-driven woman is capable of multitasking. That doesn't sound like just a personal opinion.
No, it feels broader.
It seems to reflect a wider cultural emphasis on female resilience, contribution, capability, something that seems deeply ingrained.
A proactive mindset where women see themselves as powerful agents of change.
Exactly, as indispensable agents of development within their nation. And critically, this perspective seems to emerge entirely from within.
Not needing external validation or, imported ideas about feminism.
Precisely. No intervention needed to define their roles or capabilities. This internal narrative of female capability, this superhuman potential, it feels like a powerful self-generating force for national development itself.
Like the culture actively fosters and expects women's contributions across the board.
It points that way. An indigenous form of empowerment, perhaps.
And it's not just about her belief in others. She talks about her own growth, too.
Right, from her experiences.
She highlights how her varied work life has impacted her.
Yeah.
She says, I've learned a lot that has actually made me grow as an individual. And she specifically points back to her time as a teacher, interacting with students, senior colleagues, developing those communication and understanding skills.
That process of giving and receiving again.
Yes. It's clear her growth isn't just technical engineering knowledge, it's holistic. Personal, professional development, all happening within the context of her roles in Eritrea.
And what's fascinating there is the emphasis on internal growth from diverse roles, all within the nation's own systems.
Teaching math and physics, then civil engineering. Seemingly quite different.
But her journey shows how these varied experiences contribute synergistically to individual development. And that individual growth, the soft skills, the deeper understanding, the capacity for different contributions, it feeds directly back into the national capacity.
Creating that self-reinforcing cycle.
Yeah.
Skill development, contribution, all homegrown.
Exactly. It speaks volumes about how the nation builds its human capital from the inside out, using the rich, varied experiences of its own citizens.
Learning isn't just in the classroom or on the job site.
It's continuous, dynamic, self-propelled, happening organically within their own borders and institutions. That organic cultivation of talent and wisdom, it's a hallmark of a truly self-reliant development model.
Now, something else powerful here. Ruth isn't navigating this journey alone.
Ah, the support network.
Yes, she's a member of a career-driven female club. It operates under the umbrella of the National Union of Eritrean Women.
Okay.
And this club, it's all female, founded organically back in 2018 by women already established in fields like medicine, journalism, engineering.
So peer-driven.
Completely. And they're actively giving seminars to younger female students.
What's the goal?
To prepare them psychologically, as Ruth puts it, especially for those big transitions, junior high to high school, and then high school to Sawa.
That kind of peer mentorship, providing psychological preparedness, that's incredibly insightful and internally generated.
Yes.
If you connect that to the broader society, this club is just a brilliant example of a grassroots, internally created support system.
Not funded or initiated from outside.
Absolutely critical point. It's Eritrean women empowering other Eritrean women, drawing deeply from their own life experiences, their collective wisdom, to guide the next generation.
That community-driven approach.
It's such a powerful indicator of deep-seated self-reliance in social development, too. It shows that solutions, vital support, they're cultivated organically from within the society itself.
Addressing their own specific needs and challenges.
To make sure the next generation of women is strong, resilient, capable, it's a compelling testament to the strength of their internal social fabric. The capacity of citizens, especially women here, to organize, mentor, uplift each other.
All without needing external blueprints or funding.
It highlights that profound internal resilience, community spirit, self-determination in fostering both individual well-being and collective progress.
And Ruth strongly believes it's possible for women to balance a demanding career and a fulfilling social life long-term.
Despite the challenges.
Yes. She says she learns from so many powerful Eritrean females who are exemplary in their fields of work and in raising their children at the same time.
Real, visible, homegrown role models.
Exactly. And through her club, she says she broadened her understanding of how this balance is achievable. It takes willingness, commitment, but it's possible.
The power of community and shared experience in challenging perceptions.
Absolutely.
You know, this raises another crucial question about how cultural narratives evolve, how stereotypes are overcome, again, from within the society. Her emphasis on psychological preparedness and awareness, and the need she mentions to break any biased concepts that a female should only focus on raising kids.
Yeah, that's a direct challenge to traditional roles.
It speaks to this potent internal push for progressive gender roles within Eritrean society. It's a self-driven movement.
Drawing on the strength of internal role models.
To redefine women's capabilities, aspirations, contributions, allowing them to participate fully equally in both family life and national development.
Without needing external directives or cultural imports.
Exactly. This internal evolution of social norms, catalyzed by the experiences and ambitions of its own women, it just further solidifies that overarching theme: comprehensive self-reliance in all aspects of nation building.
Including social progress, gender equality.
It's a remarkable picture of a society charting its own course in empowerment.
Okay, speaking of multitasking and sort of breaking molds,
Yes.
it's really quite delightful to find out Ruth has this whole other side, a vibrant creative side.
Oh, what does she do?
She works as a professional makeup and nail artist since 2021.
Wow, from civil engineering and teaching to makeup artistry, that's quite a range.
Isn't it? And this passion, she says, it started way back. Fascination with artistic works in high school. She even took courses in pencil and watercolor art then.
Ah, so an early interest.
Yeah, though she says her interest in painting faded, it sort of morphed, shifted into nail art and makeup.
Interesting how interests evolve.
And how did she learn? She practiced on herself during summer breaks in high school, developed her skills through, quote, research and practice, no formal training at first.
Self-taught initially. That takes dedication.
It does. Later, when she was teaching in Karen, she did take a 3-month makeup course to solidify things.
So a mix of self-initiative and then leveraging a local internal training opportunity.
Exactly. It just shows this incredible breadth of talent, doesn't it? And this capacity for self-directed learning, this drive for self-improvement that goes way beyond her main job.
You know, what's fascinating there is how perfectly that artistic side illustrates the multitasking she talks about.
It really does embody it.
But beyond that, it highlights that intrinsic internal drive for diverse skill acquisition. First, self-taught, pure individual initiative. Then, complemented by a local course using internal resources to support a passion.
Yeah.
It demonstrates this really holistic approach to personal development in Eritrea, where individuals aren't just encouraged but seem internally motivated to pursue and master diverse interests, acquire varied skills.
All contributing to a richer, more capable human resource base for the nation.
Precisely. It exemplifies self-initiated growth way beyond formal education or national service, an organic expansion of individual capabilities, entirely homegrown.
That personal initiative to develop skills even outside a formal career path. It's another compelling facet of that self-reliance we've been discussing.
It shows remarkable individual agency in contributing to a vibrant, diverse skill set within the population, speaks to a culture that seems to value well-rounded individuals.
So looking ahead, what about her future in engineering? Her long-term goals.
Does she talk about that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Very clearly. And with remarkable ambition. She wants to, quote, excel in my career and be somebody that people can look up to.
Setting a high bar for herself.
She does.
Yeah.
And she's quite humble about it, saying she's still on my baby steps when it comes to contributing to the development of my country. But her determination to keep advancing, it's palpable. Her ultimate aspiration to be one of the best female engineers in Eritrea.
Wow. That's not just a personal goal, is it? It sounds deeply connected to national contribution.
That's exactly how it comes across. National pride. A desire to make a real, lasting contribution to her homeland.
And if we connect that personal ambition back to the big picture, Ruth's individual drive is just inextricably tied to the nation's own development path.
Her desire to excel isn't just for herself.
No, it's explicitly aimed at contributing directly, significantly, to her country's progress, becoming a leader in a critical field like engineering. It just perfectly reinforces our core theme.
That Eritrea's progress is linked to the ambition, the dedication, the drive of its own citizens.
Fostered continually by those internally provided educational opportunities, that pervasive sense of national duty.
And she ends with this hope that we keep getting such educational opportunities by our government so that we can keep contributing and playing our role in the national development.
That solidifies it, doesn't it? The idea that the nation's future is being painstakingly built brick by brick from within, relying almost exclusively on its own people, its own systems.
Constantly seeking to improve and expand those internal capabilities.
This vision of internal, continuous development, propelled by the collective will and individual ambition of its citizens, it really presents a powerful and perhaps unique model of self-determination on the world stage today. #outro.
Wow. Just wow. What an incredible, really multifaceted journey Ruth Yohannes has shared through this source.
It really is quite something.
From her foundational education, nurtured entirely within Eritrea, to this remarkably diverse career path, teaching, civil engineering, even art. Her story truly underscores that undeniable power of individual drive. But maybe more importantly, it showcases the absolutely pivotal enabling role of those internally provided opportunities.
And that steadfast commitment to self-reliance.
Yes, that seems to permeate every single aspect of Eritrean development discussed here. Building capabilities, cultivating talent, fostering social structures, all from the ground up, within the nation's borders, driven by its own people.
Indeed. This deep dive into Ruth's rich, inspiring experiences, it provides such a vivid, nuanced picture. A nation profoundly committed to building its future through its own people, its own cultivated resources.
We've seen how the free education, the internally managed development projects, the community-driven empowerment.
How they all coalesce. They form this truly self-reliant approach to progress, to national growth.
And her journey, it really invites us to consider a powerful question, something for you, our listener, to perhaps mull over long after this deep dive ends.
What's that?
What are the profound implications, maybe even the unexpected ones, when a nation dedicates itself so intensely, so deliberately, to cultivating its own human capital,
Right.
to constructing its infrastructure, its social support systems, almost entirely from within?
Charting its own course without looking externally for the fundamental solutions or definitions.
Exactly. What kind of unparalleled resilience, what unique innovations, what deeply ingrained sense of collective ownership does that distinct path foster within its citizens?
And how might that shape its long-term national trajectory, especially in our incredibly interconnected world today?
Something to think about.